Well, good evening. We have made our leadership decisions tonight. I've been reelected as Speaker Designate for the Minnesota House DFL, and I'd like to introduce our new Majority Leader, Representative Jamie Long, who will say a few words, and our new Majority Whip, Representative Athena Hollins, who will say a few words. Jamie?
Thank you so much. I am Representative Jamie Long. I represent the District of Minneapolis, and I am so honored to be serving in this Majority Leader role for our caucus. I certainly have big shoes to fill with Ryan Winkler's legacy that he has left for this role. But this is a tremendous moment, I think, for our caucus, tremendous opportunity with a trifecta, with a historic budget surplus, and I think we can do really big things for our state. We have set out a vision over the last 4 years under Speaker Hortman where we have shown Minnesotans what we care about and what we want to do, and we passed a lot of things through the House that we have not been able to pass through the Senate. And we now have that opportunity to deliver on the promises that we ran on in this last election and to do big things for our state. So I'm really looking forward to this opportunity.
Hi, my name is Athena Hollins. I'm representative from District 66B, and I am truly honored today to be just recently elected to the Majority Whip role. I'm really excited to join this leadership team and to represent my caucus in every way. We have a tremendous opportunity here to move things forward for the good of all Minnesotans, and I absolutely am committed to doing that work. Thank you.
We're happy to take any questions if you have any questions.
Speaker, can you talk about some priorities that the House Democrats put forward the past few years that just were dead on arrival in the Senate, and now you have a new opportunity?
Yeah, there's so many. Where do I start, right? I think reproductive freedoms need to be protected. I think that's something we share in common with the newly elected Minnesota Senate majority and the governor. Paid family medical leave, investing more substantially in public education, being much more aggressive on making sure that healthcare is affordable and accessible to all Minnesotans, engaging in bold climate action, gun violence prevention. There are reasonable measures we can take. Our caucus is passionate, the Senate DFL caucus is passionate about our crisis in affordable housing, and we would really like to do something about that. I'm sure I'm forgetting some things, so Athena and Jamie can please feel free to add.
That was a good list.
Oh, protecting democracy itself. I think there were two things that were going on in this election. One was a resounding rejection of election deniers. We saw Secretary Simon get more votes than anybody else in the state of Minnesota. And I think that tells you that democracy was on the ballot. And the other really big motivating issue we heard from voters was protecting reproductive freedom and bodily autonomy. And so we will be engaging with Minnesotans across the state through hearings and town hall meetings to make sure that we're on the same page. And what we're really excited about doing is working hand in hand with the Minnesota Senate and the governor to move expeditiously to start producing results for the people of Minnesota.
Senator Dietzig was just elected by her caucus to be her leader. Can you describe the relationship you may have with her now and how you see that partnership going into next year?
We go way back. Senator Dietzig and I have both served for a long time, and so we have been together the last time we had the trifecta, and we were both leading fundraising in our caucuses. So we were in touch over the season this year trying to raise the funds that we needed to flip the majority in the Senate and to hold the House majority. So we have just an outstanding relationship, and I have nothing but the highest respect for Senator Dietzig.
It's a very metro-centric leadership team here. Republicans like to go after the DFL is only focusing on the cities. I guess how do you balance the competing interest of greater Minnesota and the metro with a leadership team dominated by metro lawmakers?
We have always been a caucus that has worked hard for the entire state, and whether it's the Iron Range or Duluth or the southeastern corner of the state and Winona, this is a caucus that has always represented the entire state. We're unlike the Republicans who have no members in the cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. This is a caucus that represents the geographic diversity of the state, and you will see that in the policies that we pass.
You mentioned expeditiously. seems like an operative word in the times of gridlock that kind of leave everything to May, whatever, at the 11th hour. Can you talk about like how you see this budget year and also trying to pass policies too? Do you want more standalone bills, policy out of those omnibus bills that are a million pages long?
Well, definitely. I think, one of the frustrations that we had was that the Senate Republicans were unwilling to break the bills into smaller pieces. They were unwilling to have many policy discussions at all. We had to bring gun violence prevention to conference committee in a budget bill because otherwise it would not have gotten there at all, as well as many of the policies that we brought that protected the climate and that also protected Minnesota workers. If we didn't put those on the table and bring them in the budget bills, the Senate Republicans wouldn't even have a conversation about it. So things that I think we can move fast on are things like making sure that the Biden student loan debt forgiveness is not taxable income. That's a kind of thing one would hope we could move very quickly on. But I really don't want to say more. I probably shouldn't have even started to name anything because we're anxious to work in full partnership with the Senate and the governor. And one thing that, I have prided myself on as a speaker is not putting a bill on the governor's desk that he wasn't engaged in the conversation. And so the way that bills get signed into law is you have a partnership going in and you all work to get on the same page. And when you put that bill on the governor's desk, he's ready to sign it. And so we are anxious to get to work. I think Senator Dietzick and I and the governor have a meeting tomorrow, and so we will get going right away.
The governor made some headlines today when Jesse Ventura went on a podcast saying that Governor Walz told him that recreational marijuana would be a top priority. The House did pass that bill last year. Would you bring up the same policy again?
This caucus supports adult use cannabis. I believe that we will pass that bill. Anything else? All right, thanks for hanging out while we had our discussion, and thanks for your warm welcome to our new leaders. So have a great night.
Thank you.